We are just one day away from Notre Dame versus Stanford rivalry matchup. 7 p.m. Eastern time kickoff, 4 p.m. local time. Notre Dame playing the Cardinal on the West Coast. Got to throw it out there right now. If you're watching this video, guys, the game is on Pac-12 Network. If you don't get the Pac-12 Network, which you probably don't because it's not a very good network, Fubo TV is what you're going to want to check out. So if you have Fubo TV, you've got the game, you've got the Pac-12 Network. If you don't, Fubo TV is the easiest way to get the game. So you can check out Fubo TV. So we're going to talk about the game, Notre Dame Stanford, to end the regular season. Of course, folks, before we dive into it, hit the thumbs up on the video, subscribe to our channel for more content and much more over at blueandgold.com to learn more about this game in form of preview content. So 3 keys to the game with Tim Hyde. I like this key number 1, Tim. It's just revenge from last year's 16-14 loss.
Yeah, I mean, going back to it's like this is a trophy game. You know, they play for the Legends Trophy, so we got to get that trophy back into South Bend. So heck yeah, it's revenge. But Stanford came into South Bend last year, 1-4. Notre Dame was ranked in this game last year when they lost. So it was a gut-wrenching loss. It really was. I mean, Fisher gives up a sack before halftime. They go down, kick 3 points. Who would have thought that mattered, right? Estime's going down for the game-winning drive, fumbles, gives the ball right back to Stanford. You got Drew Pine missing dudes wide open. He was under 50% in the game. So it was one of those nights in South Bend. Notre Dame needs to go out to Palo Alto and just do what they do this year and go out there and find a way to get win number 9 and hammer Stanford. I feel for a little of that revenge because this has been the talk. And, Stanford and David Shaw's no longer there. And that son of a gun's last game against Notre Dame, he beat him. So let's go out there, Palo Alto, and get a big win.
Yeah. So, Tim, we talked about this a little bit on our this young man on our Tuesday night show, Elic Aomanor. So, Stanford will use a couple quarterbacks. I believe I can't say I've watched really any Stanford football this year. The guy we expect to be the normal quarterback or quarterback is most of the team is Ashton Daniels, 11 touchdowns to 7 picks, 2,095 passing yards. 58.7% completion percentage, 167, 300 passing attempts. How about half of, at least Daniels is throwing for 2,000 yards. Half of that is Elic Aomanor's receiving numbers, 55 receptions, 955 yards, 6 touchdowns. So a long way to get into your point number 2 here, Tim. Stop the Stanford passing game. Really, Aomanor is the guy that they really got to stop.
Exactly. I mean, he's got 5 games this year over 90 yards, multiple games in the 100. So he's had a really, really good, solid year. Obviously, the monster game against Colorado stands out. But, yeah, I mean, Stanford's not in the bottom. They're in the bottom of many offensive categories, but they're in the top 50 in passing offense. So, but that's Notre Dame's strength. I mean, Notre Dame is top 2, 3 in passing yards allowed. They're number 2 in pass defense efficiency, which is unreal. And just attempts, Notre Dame is 4th. And it's funny because the teams that are ahead of them are all Big Ten teams, and none of those guys know how to throw the football. So it tells you how strong Notre Dame's pass defense has been this year with the multitude of teams that they've played that are ranked, the quarterbacks they've seen. So, and then another strong thing is how do you stop a passing attack? You get after it. And the Stanford offensive line is in the bottom 10 in giving up sacks. So stop the passing game. You got great DBs this year with Notre Dame. And then obviously the Stanford offensive line is atrocious. Get after these guys up front. I think we're going to see a lot of the same thing you saw against Pitt and Wake. Multiple blitz packages coming from Al Golden in this game.
So, man, when you're talking about the Stanford offense, I'm just thinking to myself, man, Ben Morrison can lock up Aomanor and let that front 7 just get after the quarterback. Like this could be a Wake Forest or Pitt kind of outcome where Notre Dame just covers that 26-point spread. Little spoiler there, like it's nothing. But Notre Dame on the road they've struggled at times this year. Heck, against Pitt and Wake Forest they struggled early on. So they got to start fast, Tim. And the Notre Dame defense is going to play well. It's just this offense has got to travel. That's your key number 3.
Oh, exactly. I mean, it's got to travel. I mean, but the teams they've played this year are like the most, defensive minded, some of the best teams in the country on the road. So You're right. It needs to travel. They need to go out there and handle business. Stanford is in the, once again, talking about some of the stats, bottom 10 in yards per play. They are near the worst defense in the country of giving up yards per play. Notre Dame has struggled against the top defenses. So this should, on paper, be a game that they go out there and handle business in this, you know. And the only game they've really been under the watermark, being 5 yards a play, has been Louisville. So, you know, NC State, Duke, Clemson, they were well above the 5 yards a play mark, you know, almost 8 against NC State. So hopefully it's more of the NC State, even Duke, they moved the ball a bunch in that game. So when it's offense must travel, yes, going to your point, Mike, we know what the defense has done this year. They're one of the best defenses in modern Notre Dame history when you look at the stats. So the offense needs to go out there, get the ball, defense is going to get it to them, and just go put up some points and make this a fun Saturday night in Palo Alto.
Tim, a decade ago or so, like these two programs, I mean, Stanford was like ahead of Notre Dame, like at some points, right? Now the gap is, you know, Notre Dame's far and away a superior team, but I'm just like looking at their win-loss record and just thinking to myself, like, again, not too long ago, these programs were on very similar levels in terms of, you know, just how good they were, really. Yeah. Could you imagine Notre Dame fans if this was Notre Dame? Like, look at this. They are 3-8, 11th in the Pac-12. Like, good God. I would ask the Stanford fans how they feel about it. I just know there's not really many to ask out there. Tim, that was a joke. You're allowed to laugh. But getting into your score prediction now, Tim, that's where we will go over to the betting odds. Odd Sharks predicted score, according to their algorithm, is Notre Dame 43, round that up from 42.8 to 43, and Stanford 15. The spread opened at 24.5 on Sunday, I believe, and now it's up to minus 26 for Notre Dame. So people are hammering Notre Dame. And then the over-under is at 51.5. So that's what Odd Shark thinks. Tim, what's your score prediction for this game?
Yeah, just a quick, few seconds on some of the big games you've mentioned. It's like, yeah, I mean, Stanford knocked Notre Dame out of the playoff hunt in 2015 on the last second field goal. 2017, Notre Dame's getting ready to go to one of the New Year's Six games. Stanford knocks him out on the last day. Obviously, the great, iconic 2012 goal line stand by Notre Dame.
Yep.
And Stanford's got two big upsets in the 90s in South Bend, last year's upset in South Bend. But, yeah, Notre Dame needs to just go out there, going back to my point. And Marcus Freeman kind of hinted at a little bit in his Monday press conference, just his tone of how ready his guys are going to be on Saturday, and I think they are. Covering, I'm still hesitant just because is the offense going to travel? It should. But I don't want to jinx anything, Mike, so I'm going to say they're not going to cover because I've been picking them to do that, and they've been winning nice lately. So I'm going to go 37-14 Notre Dame in this one.
All right, so there you have it. Notre Dame getting a victory, according to Tim Hyde. But will they? You'll have to watch the game Saturday, and then when you do, right afterwards, you're going to join us right here on our YouTube page of Blue and Gold. Tim and I will be live moments after the game is over. I'm talking, less than a minute or two after the game is over. Tim and I'll be live so you can watch us break it down. Before you get out of here, hit the thumbs up on this video, subscribe to our channel, of course. And as always, folks, we will catch you next time.